Hi, my dear children. Welcome to Social Science online class of 9th standard. In our last class, we have learned about Delhi Sultanate and slave dynasty that ruled northern part of India during the Middle Ages. Today, in this session, we are going to understand another two dynasties that ruled Delhi Sultanate, namely Khilji dynasty and Tughlaq dynasty. Khilji dynasty. Jalaluddin Firoz Khilji was the founder of Khilji dynasty. Jalaluddin was around 70 years old at the time of his accession. He was known as a mild-mannered, humble and kind monarch to the general public. Jalaluddin succeeded in overcoming the opposition of the Turkish nobles and ascended the throne of Delhi in January 1290. Jalaluddin was not a universally accepted ruler. During his 6 years of reign, Balban's nephew revolted against him. Jalaluddin was a man of mercy and soft spoken. As a result, his lieutenant became strong and plotted to kill him. Later, Alauddin Khilji killed him and became the Sultan of Delhi. Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji was the most powerful emperor of the Khilji dynasty that ruled the Delhi Sultanate in the Indian subcontinent. Alauddin Khilji instituted a number of significant administrative changes related to revenue, price control, and society. He is noted for repulsing the Mongol invasion of the India. Alauddin Khilji grew up under the protection of Jalaluddin Khilji during his childhood days. He was a good warrior and served as the governor and also as the military general. As a military general, Alauddin Khilji invaded Malwa, Bilwa and Devagiri and plundered a lot of wealth. Alauddin Khilji killed his guide and mentor Jalaluddin Khilji. Thus, by treating the path of murder and plunder, Alauddin Khilji became the Sultan of Delhi. Conquest of Alauddin Khilji. In the year 1297, the Mongols raided the Punjab regions. Alauddin forces, led by Ulugh Khan, defeated the Mongols in 1298. According to Amir Khusro, 20,000 Mongols were killed in the battle, and many more were killed in Delhi after being brought there as prisoners. In 1298, another Mongol army invaded Sindh and occupied the fort of Shivastan. This time, Alauddin's general Zafar Khan defeated the invaders and recaptured the fort. In the early 1299, Alauddin sent Ulu Khan and Nasrat Khan to invade Gujarat, where the Wangala king Karna offered a weak resistance. Alauddin Khilji's army plundered several towns, including Somnath temple. The Delhi army also captured several people, including the Queen Kamala Devi and slave Malik Kafur. In 1301, Alauddin Khilji ordered Ulu Khan and Nasrat Khan to invade Ranthambore, and Ranthambore was ruled by King Hamir Deva. After Nasrat Khan was killed during the siege, Alauddin Khilji personally took care of the siege operation and conquered the fort. In 1305, Khilji launched an invasion of Malwa in central India. Around 1308, Alauddin Khilji sent Malik Kafur to invade Devagiri, whose king Ramachandra had discontinued the tribute payment promised in 1296. Alauddin Khilji implemented various reforms in the administration. He abolished religious endowments, inam lands, and subsidy. An efficient intelligence network was established by Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji prohibited alcohol, drugs, and dice game. He banned association formation among his sardars, their socialization with the general public, and marriage among elite class of people. During his time, the farmers with minor landholdings and also big landlords had to pay taxes. He appointed revenue officials to collect the fixed tax from the farmers. Military reforms. The task of recruiting, training of soldiers, and supply of arms and horses were entrusted to the defense minister. The wages of the soldiers was dispersed on the last day of the month in the form of cash. The individual records of soldiers were created based on their physical features. A system of records named as Hulia was brought into effect for this purpose. The process of stamping the horses, called as Dag, came into effect. If any soldiers had any grosses with his salary or entitlements, he could have directly complained to the Sultan himself. Market reforms. The reforms in the market that were implemented by Alauddin Khilji have ensured him a special place in the history. He created a system wherein the common people had access to pulses, cereals, cooking oil, sugar, salt and fuel at a fair price. Similarly, he established markets to sell horses and slaves. Alauddin Khilji appointed higher officials named San-e-Mandi to regulate the markets. Severe punishment were given accorded to cheaters. The honor of successful completion of the South Indian invasion goes to his general Malik Kafur. During his time, Kafur invaded Devagiri, Warangal, Dwarasamudra and Madurai, and he became responsible for destruction of these places. He did not integrate the conquered states into his state, but simply plundered them. After him, third son Qutbuddin Mubarak ruled for 4 years and was murdered by his soldier Khusro. Later, Ghazni Malik or Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq murdered Khusro and established the Tughlaq dynasty. Tughlaq dynasty. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq was the founder of Tughlaq dynasty in India. He ruled over the Sultanate of Delhi from 1320 to 1325. In Delhi, Ghiyasuddin founded a city called Tughlaqabad city. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq maintained peace and order in Delhi by implementing liberal administrative policies. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq strengthened the border to prevent the invasion of Mongols. He built irrigation canals for the benefit of the farmers and lowered the taxes. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq established the postal system consisting of horsemen and runners. He built Tughlaqabad fort near Delhi. Ghiyasuddin conquered Madurai and Warangal and maintained law and order in Gujarat and Bengal region. The rule of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq was cut short after 5 years when he died under mysterious circumstances in 1325. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq succeeded by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. The other important ruler of this dynasty is Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq is one of the most interesting sultan of Delhi during the medieval India, who ruled over the northern part of Indian subcontinent and Deccan from 1324 to 1351. During the rule of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he introduced a large number of policies and reforms. These policies and reforms made him a wise fool among the kings in Indian history. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a scholar of Persian and Arabic languages. He was an expert in mathematics, physics, medicine, Persian poetry, astronomy and other subjects. Though he was a man of knowledge, he had a few abnormalities in his personality. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was thinking ahead of his time, often centuries ahead. But his officials neither had the integrity nor the maturity to implement his plans. Administrative reforms of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Among the large number of reforms, the first one is called revenue reforms. Muhammad bin Tughlaq established Department of Agriculture. The uncultivated lands were made cultivable. Various schemes were implemented to provide financial assistance to the farmers. But the farmers of Doab regions had to pay higher land taxes during his time. Even there was fertile land in Doab regions, due to famine, people were unable to pay taxes. Later, they left Doab regions and migrated to other places. Shifting of his capital. In 1327, Muhammad bin Tughlaq ordered to move his capital from Delhi to Devagiri in the present day Maharashtra in the Deccan regions of India. The place was around 1000 kilometers apart. Tughlaq ordered a forced mass migration of Delhi's population. Later, he ordered the people to move back to Delhi. Thousands of people, including women and children, died during the journey. Those who refused were killed. There are two main reasons behind the shifting of his capital. The first one, to establish the capital city at the center of this vast empire. And the second one is to protect the capital city from foreign invasions. Though the plan was good, but proper precautions were not taken to implement this idea. As a result, innumerable common people suffered severely. Experiment of symbolic coins. The value of currency was made adjusted to value of gold and silver coins in circulation of this time. Muhammad bin Tughlaq brought a gold coin named dinar and a silver coin named adli into circulation. The coins were aesthetically designed, but after a few years, the copper and brass coins were also brought into circulations symbolically. Minting of coins was not vested with the government alone. Families who had traditional rights to mint coins were also there. The coins were minted more than the record numbers without the permission of Sultan. This resulted in chaos. The state treasury became empty due to costly administrative experiments, severe drought, the shifting of the capital city, the process of relocating the capital back, and other measures. Deccan policy. Muhammad bin Tughlaq implemented his administration in the areas conquered by him in Deccan regions. Muhammad bin Tughlaq had conquered Warangal, the capital of Kakatiyas. He destroyed the Dwarasamudra, which was the capital city of Hoysalas. He conquered Madurai of South India, and Jalaluddin Hasan Shah was named as the governor. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was the first Delhi Sultan to establish vast empire in India. Muhammad bin Tughlaq organized a big army. There were 27 rebellions in South India during his last 11 years of rule. These rebellions led to the rise of Vijayanagara and Bahamani kingdoms. In 1351, Firoz Shah Tughlaq became the Sultan of Delhi. He ascended the throne after Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Firoz Shah Tughlaq implemented numerous people-friendly programs. He waived off Takavi loans for the benefit of his subject. He paid compensation to the victims of Muhammad bin Tughlaq's invasions. The private mines used to be taxed, and also taxes were collected for providing irrigation facilities. He abolished around 24 different types of taxes. He built many cities, mosques, madrasas, dams and irrigation canals. Jaunpur, Fatehbad, Hisar, Firozpur, Firozabad were the few important cities built by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Jaunpur was a famous learning center during that period. Dharmashalas were built for the benefit of travelers.